I am 87 years old, and when I was 70, I was surrounded by things: a big house, expensive furniture, collections I had spent decades building, a closet full of clothes I never wore, a garage full of things I could not even name, and I thought all of it meant something. I thought all of it made me who I was. But by 75, I realized something. Every single thing I owned was owning me. They were not assets, they were anchors, and they were keeping me from actually living in my final years. So I got rid of almost everything, and what was left were the years when I was actually free. And before I run out of time, I need to tell you which 5 things you need to get rid of right now, because if you wait until you are my age to figure this out, you will have wasted precious years maintaining things instead of living. Let me be clear about something. I am not talking about being poor. I am not talking about not having enough. I am talking about having too much, about letting possessions define you and imprison you. When you are young, accumulation makes sense. You are building a life. You are collecting things that have meaning. But somewhere around 70, the math changes. The things that used to feel like accomplishments start to feel like obligations. You have a big house that you have to clean, you have to maintain, you have to heat and cool and repair. And the older you get, the harder it is. At 70, that big house is not a trophy anymore. It is a job. You have clothes in your closet that you bought for the person you were, the executive, the fashionable person, the person who went to cocktail parties, but that person is gone, and those clothes are just taking up space, reminding you of someone you no longer are. You have collections, golf clubs you do not use anymore, books you will never read again, souvenirs from trips you took decades ago, and every time you look at them, you feel the weight of time. You feel what you have lost instead of what you still have. And nobody tells you this. Nobody tells you that the path to freedom starts with getting rid of things. So I am going to tell you now. Possession 1, a house that is too big. By the time you are 70, you do not need a big house anymore. Your children are gone. You are not entertaining anymore. You are not building anymore. You are living. And a big house is the opposite of living. It is maintaining. I had a 5-bedroom house, 5 bedrooms for one person. 1 bedroom I used for bedrooms full of things I did not want to throw away. Things from my children's childhoods, things I was saving for some reason, things I never looked at, and I spent 2 hours a week cleaning that house, 2 hours a week that I could have been living. I spent thousands a year maintaining it, repairs, property taxes, heating costs, and for what? To live in 5 rooms out of 5 bedrooms? At 70, downsize, move into something smaller, something you can actually maintain yourself if you want to, something that does not require you to be there all the time, because your time is worth more than your square footage. I sold my big house at 76, and I moved into an apartment half the size, and I got back 10 hours a week. 10 hours a week I will never get back if I had waited. Do not wait. Possession 2, clothes for people you used to be. Look in your closet. How many clothes do you actually wear? If you are like most people, you wear 20% of what you own. The other 80% are clothes for jobs you no longer have, for bodies you no longer have, for people you no longer are. I had suits from the 1990s, business clothes from a career I retired from 15 years ago, formal dresses for parties I was not invited to anymore, and I was paying to store all of that. I was paying to have closet space for clothes I hated myself for owning. At 70, keep the clothes that make you feel good right now, not the clothes that remind you of who you were, not the clothes you are saving for if you lose weight, not the clothes you bought because they were expensive and you felt obligated to wear them. Get rid of everything else, and you will find something interesting. You will stop thinking about your closet. It will stop being a source of anxiety, and you will get dressed in the morning without that little voice saying, I should wear the suit because I paid so much for it. Possession 3, collections that do not bring you joy. Maybe you collected golf clubs, or coins, or stamps, or vintage records, or art, or sports memorabilia. And for a long time, collecting was your hobby. It gave you purpose. It gave you an identity. But at 70, that collection is just a burden. It takes up space. It requires maintenance. It ties you down, because if you own a valuable collection, you cannot just leave. You have to worry about theft. You have to worry about care and preservation. I knew a man who had a stamp collection worth thousands of dollars. He spent his retirement organizing it, protecting it, and he never left his house because he was afraid something would happen to it. At 75, he sold it for half of what he thought it was worth, and he took a trip he had been planning for 20 years. Look at your collections. Ask yourself honestly, am I enjoying this? Or am I maintaining this? If the answer is maintaining, get rid of it, sell it, give it away, trade it for freedom. Possession 4. Furniture and decor from your past. When you were 40, you bought furniture to impress people, a fancy couch, an expensive dining table, decorations that said something about your status. You spent money and time and energy maintaining these things. At 70, none of that matters anymore. The people you were trying to impress are either dead or do not care, and you are stuck with furniture that is too formal, too precious, too much work. Get comfortable furniture. Get furniture you can actually sit on without worrying about spilling something. Get furniture that makes you feel at home, not like you are living in a museum. I had a dining room table that cost more than my first car. It was beautiful. It was also terrifying. I could not eat on it without being afraid of damage. I did not use it for years, and then I sold it and bought a simple wooden table that I could put my feet on, and I actually started eating at my table again. By 70, comfort matters more than impression. Get rid of everything that is designed to impress people, and keep only what makes your life easier. Possession 5. Anything you are keeping just in case. This is the killer. The things you are saving for some imaginary future scenario. The formal dishes you might use if you ever have a big dinner party. The fancy clothes you might wear if you ever get invited somewhere fancy. The tools in the garage you might need for a project you are never going to do. All of these things are anchors. They are weight. They are space you are renting to store your anxiety about the future. At 70, the future is shorter than the past. You do not have time to keep things just in case. You have time for things that matter now. Get rid of anything you have not used in a year. If you have not used it in a year, you are not going to use it. I had kitchen gadgets I bought 20 years ago for dishes I never made. I had a sewing machine I never learned to use. I had exercise equipment that became a clothes hanger, and all of it was taking up space, taking up mental energy, making me feel guilty every time I saw it. When I got rid of all of that, something interesting happened. I stopped feeling guilty about my house. I stopped feeling anxious when people came over. I stopped thinking about all the things I was supposed to do and never did, and I started actually enjoying my space. When I got rid of these 5 categories of possessions, something shifted. I did not have to clean anymore. I did not have to maintain. I did not have to think about my things. I just had to live, and that freed something up, not just space, but time and energy and mental clarity. Suddenly I had time for things that actually mattered. Reading, walking, thinking, being present. And I also realized something else. The fewer things I owned, the lighter I felt, literally and figuratively. I had been carrying the weight of my past, of who I used to be, of things I thought were important, and once I let them go, I felt free. By 75, I had already gotten rid of most of my stuff, and those were the best years. The freest years, and I wish I had done it earlier. I wish I had not waited until 75 to figure out that the things you own end up owning you. I am 87 years old, and I own very little, and I have never been richer in the ways that actually matter. If you are 70 or close to it, start today. Look at these 5 categories and get rid of what does not serve you anymore. Do not wait. Do not think you will do it someday. Do it now, because every day you keep these things is a day you are not free. Every day you maintain a big house is a day you could have been somewhere else. Every time you open your closet and see clothes you do not want to wear, you feel a little bit of your life draining away. If this resonated with you, leave a comment. Tell me which possession you are going to get rid of first, or tell me what you got rid of that freed your life, because you are not alone in this realization. And if you want more wisdom about living well in your final years, subscribe, because I have much more to teach. I am tired now. But I am free.